Are you a first-time homebuyer trying to figure out whether you should buy a house or a condo right now? Condos obviously have that simplicity, low maintenance, they're often close to transit, amenities, shops, that type of stuff. Whereas houses, you have way more flexibility and freedom to do renovations, repairs, upgrades, things like that. So we're gonna look at both of these on this episode of Bald Prairie Real Estate and decide for first-time homebuyer in Canada, is it better to buy a house or a condo? Hey guys, welcome back to Bald Prairie Real Estate. My name is Matthew Pfeifer, but I'd like to be known as your favorite real estate agent on YouTube. And do you like learning about real estate? Well, you clicked on a real estate related video, so I'm going to take a guess that you do. And I do real estate educational videos every single week. So if you like that type of thing, go ahead, hit subscribe right now so you won't miss any of my educational videos. Plus, I do fantastic monthly updates on the state of the Canadian real estate market. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss another one of my videos. But the other day I was watching a YouTube video and they were doing a review of like a universal remote. I remember when the first time I saw a universal remote, and I said to myself, boy, this changes everything. So when I was doing the research for this video, I checked out a lot of different other videos that are out there, did a ton of reading. And one thing I noticed is that often houses and townhouses and the kitchen sink and everything else seems to get compared together in one video. Now I've already done a townhouse versus condo video. So if you want to check that out, that's right there. You can see what that is. This is going to focus specifically on condos versus single family homes and what would be better as a first time home buyer to be looking at. This is a question I get asked an awful lot, so I wanted to break it down. And when I was doing the research, I kind of felt like there were some gaps that I wanted to fill in. So that's what this video is all about. We're gonna look at what are the advantages of buying a condo versus a house and vice versa. By the end of this, you're gonna know what's better as a first-time home buyer in Canada, which you should buy, a condo or a house. Okay, before we get into talking about the pros and the cons of condominium ownership, let's define what a condo is, because that's something that can get confusing. Condominium, that word, denotes the type of ownership, not the type of building. Most people, when they think of condo, they're thinking of the high-rise style apartments, and that is one type of condo, but you also have townhouses and individual houses can actually be condominiumized. Sometimes they'll share like a common cul-de-sac where they'll have common landscaping and maintenance and things like that. Condominium means you own that building or that series of buildings in common ownership with other owners. You have exclusive use to part of that. So condominium is a type of ownership, not a type of building. Okay. So now we know what a condominium is, let's talk about the advantages that a condo has versus a house. And there's two big ways to break this down. So the first one's gonna be lifestyle. Condos, they're simple. That's the advantage to them. If you wanna leave, lock the door, you're gone, you don't have to worry about it. Because you have lower maintenance, you don't have to worry about shoveling the snow, cutting grass, shingles blowing off in a windstorm, anything like that. That's not your responsibility. So the lifestyle is a lot easier that way. As well, a lot of times condominiums are placed close to transit corridors, amenities, shopping, or places of employment. So that's a huge advantage. Your commute's gonna be quicker, all that type of stuff. That's the lifestyle side of buying a condo. Then of course, there's the cost side of things. Condos are generally cheaper per square foot than a house would be because you just have that unit and not all the surrounding land. Your utility costs are often lower as well because you've got other units around you. They're going to keep it insulated, so your heating and cooling is going to be a little bit lower. And often, some of your utilities are going to be included in your condo fees. And don't worry, we're getting to those dreaded condo fees coming up right away. Your insurance is going to be cheaper as well because instead of having to insure the entire building, you only have to insure for your liability and your contents because in those condo fees, you're going to get some of that insurance covered. So your cost is going to be a little bit cheaper in a condo, which makes it more approachable for first-time home buyers. Now let's talk about the drawbacks to buying a condo. One of the most obvious is noise and privacy. Because you got neighbors all around you, it's going to be a little bit noisier and you have less privacy. Then of course, the other big disadvantage is lack of flexibility. You can't do any sort of renovations, upgrades, or an addition, anything like that, because you obviously don't own all the place. And even if you could do renovations, a lot of times those are going to have to get approved by your condo board before you even do them. So you've got a lot less flexibility, even though you own or have exclusive use to that unit. And we can't talk about condos without talking about those darn pesky condo fees. Everybody hates them, but they're not all bad. Let's quickly talk about the good. You do have some advantages, and that is some utilities are going to be covered. your maintenance, and your future repair bills. Those are going to get covered in your condo fees. So that's some of the advantage, and the insurance. Don't forget about insurance as well. Those are some of the advantages of condo fees, but they get a bad rap for a reason. They can get very expensive. If your condo board isn't managing those condo fees, they can go up very quickly. I always recommend people are active in their condo board to know what the heck's going on with their condo fees. They also hurt your ability to purchase that condo in the first place. If you make around $60,000, you're probably going to be able to be approved for around $300,000 purchase. That's buying a house, but you wouldn't be able to buy a condo for $300,000 because of the condo fees. So let's say you have a $150 condo fee. Well, now you actually need to make closer to $70,000 in order to qualify for that $300,000 condo with $150 condo fees. But what if it's poorly managed, or it's got really expensive condo fees because it's got a bunch of amenities and things like that covered? Say they're $450. I've seen it before. Well, now instead of that $70,000 income, you actually need almost a $90,000 income to qualify to spend $300,000 on a condo with $450 condo fees. So those can really hurt your ability to purchase. Just take that in perspective. Those are some of the negatives when buying a condo, and condo fees are definitely one of them. So what are the advantages to owning a house? And I don't need to define a house, right? 4 walls and a roof. Okay, cool. We're on the same page. We know what a house is. Freedom, flexibility, privacy. That's your biggest advantages to owning a house. You get the freedom to do whatever you want because you own all the land. In fact, some areas, my market in particular, you even get the mineral rights sometimes when you buy houses. You can't do anything with them, but heck, you own the mineral rights. If you want to do an addition, renovations, upgrades, repairs, all that kind of stuff, you got the flexibility to do it. No condo board to tell you what to do. You want a big backyard for your dog? Go right ahead. Condo board doesn't have to approve that pet anymore. Fantastic. Best part, no more pesky condo fees. None of that, out the window. And of course, privacy, because houses are generally gonna be built in neighborhoods where they're a little more spread out. You don't have neighbors on top of you, so you got a little more privacy. Those are the big advantages to owning a house. So what are the disadvantages when you're buying a house? Well, responsibility and costs. Those are your biggest ones. You're responsible for everything. All the maintenance, all the repairs, anything like that. Cutting the grass, snow removal, everything. You gotta take care of it all. You can't just lock the door like you can at a condo and leave. And then of course, cost. Per square foot, houses are pretty much always gonna be more expensive than condos. So you've got that huge expense that you wouldn't have in a condo. And then of course, the other big disadvantage is usually houses are built farther away from the downtown core. So you're gonna have longer commute times. It's gonna take more time out of your day. Those are kind of your big disadvantages when you buy a house. So what's better for you, the first-time home buyer? What should you buy, a condo or a house? Well, it depends a little bit on your lifestyle. If you want that lower cost, low maintenance, easygoing lifestyle of a condo where you can just turn the key and go, and you've got close transit and amenities, shops, all that type of stuff, well, a condo is perfect for that. And that's what appeals to a lot of first-time home buyers. Low maintenance, easy lifestyle. But if you want a little more flexibility, freedom, privacy, do renovations, upgrades, all that type of stuff, you want a quieter neighborhood, well, in that case, a house might be a better purchase for you. It's gonna depend on kind of what you want out of your lifestyle, but both are good options for first-time home buyers. And a townhouse condo is kind of a good compromise between the two if you're not really sure. So you can find a townhouse that has a small backyard. That might help be a good compromise between the condo and a house. Now, you've got to think about what's going to be for resale value. This is a question I get asked all the time. What's going to be better for a resale value, a condo or a house? I'll tell you right now, a good, well-maintained condo and a good, well-maintained house will both sell well. It all depends on how it's marketed and presented, but they're both going to sell fairly well. It's a little more area specific though. Some cities, houses sell like gangbusters. Other cities, condos, that's the absolute rock star product out there. So it depends more kind of what your city or area demands. But neither of them be a bad choice if you maintain them and take care of them well. Always do your due diligence when you're purchasing either one of those. You do that right, you're probably going to be okay. So I hope this kind of wraps up what you should buy, a condo or a house. I know maybe I gave you a half answer and said it depends on your lifestyle, but it really does. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer and you got more questions about buying a house in Canada, well, I've got a whole playlist right here dedicated to you, the first-time home buyer. It's going to answer a lot of the questions you might have. And if you want those great Canadian real estate market updates I do, right here is my most recent monthly Canadian real estate market update. Check it out, and thanks for watching, everybody.